Good day, everyone, and welcome to the Cutting Edge Install Podcast brought to you by Omni Cubed, where innovation meets installation and could quite literally be everything in between. I'm your host, Merv Campbell, and it's an absolute pleasure to have you with us. What's this all about if it's your first time watching or listening? Well, it's all about celebrating. When you hear this, it's kind of the festive time of year, and so it is a real time to celebrate. And so we got some real movers and shakers in the installs, experts, game changers, and we're going to dive into stories, we're going to share insights, and we are going to have fun. If you don't know, my accent is Irish before anyone says anything else. Born and bred there, and the Irish sure know how to have fun. So whether you're on the job, whether you're on the road, or you're looking to stay sharp, you have come to the absolute right place. So let's get cracking. It's an absolute pleasure to have Brandon with us today. It's good to have you on here. We're going to get started. Tell us about yourself. What's your story? How did you get into the glazing industry? What drew you in? And who are you?
Okay, well, my story really starts, I guess, when I first got into the glazing industry. Like prior to me getting in the industry, I was in high school and I didn't make it the first time. I decided that doing activities, I don't know if I could say it online, but what Walter White produced, that's what I was on. And
Okay.
so it really screwed me up, man. I had to go to inpatient
Right.
rehab. Luckily, my parents were patient, but
Good.
that just the act of coming out of that is
Uh-huh.
kind of what shaped me of who I am today. So I wouldn't change it if I had to go back.
Good.
So I was in recovery. I was 15 years old, and
Uh-huh.
prior to that, I had been working for my dad at a tile company from probably the age 5, right? So work has always been in my DNA.
Yeah.
One day I decided I needed to get a real job, so I went and started at a glass company, Denver Glass Interiors, in fact, here in
Wow.
Denver, Colorado. My auntie was the shop manager there, and I
Uh-huh.
was too young to legally work, but it was a small company, maybe only 10 people, and
Yeah.
they just gave me a shot because of family. And
Awesome.
so I started in the shop when I was 15 years old, and my very first job was basically running the flat polisher inside the shop. And that was many, many years ago. I've worked pretty much every single job there is to do in the glazing industry. I've done it
Yeah.
for probably years at a time, from
Uh-huh.
production all the way through sales.
Wow. So you've pretty much seen it all. That's pretty legit. In that time frame then, what are we looking at? A couple of decades. What's what's changed the most then since you kind of got the boots on the ground that very first day up until now?
I think what changed and what continues to change is just the way that information is processed. We went from plumb bobs and levels to using plumb lasers and dot lasers, and
Yes.
now we have digital templating. My buddy Rodney, also here in Colorado, his company is called Redline Templates, and I was basically helping him out since day one. I think he's been in business for 10 or 15 years now. So
Awesome.
like the laser templating is like incredible, where the guy, I'm sure it's the same in the stone industry. That's where he came
Yep.
from, right? The guy
Hmm.
scans the name, produces DXF files, and goes right to the
Yep.
cut line. So it was like the perfect technology to marry with glass, because it takes forever to measure like glass railings or walls
Oh
and
yeah.
mirrors.
Yep.
You know what else? Clipboards. So I used to be the clipboard master. So they
Uh-huh.
call me what's the guy? Inspector Gadget. So I had like the
Uh-huh.
clipboard, right? I had like all my rulers, my pens, my highlighters. I had 10 copies of every form, like always fully stocked. My clipboard was like this thick, and I took that thing everywhere with. And so when
Oh
iPads
man.
came out, it was like a game changer, right? So
Uh-huh.
now I don't even touch it whatsoever. I'm a huge fan of the iPad. CAD software has really helped me
Yes.
understand the technical side. So like many years ago, maybe 15 years ago, I learned how to use SolidWorks, like incredibly
Uh-huh.
like robust software to try to figure out
Yep.
complex jobs. And so
Oh
now we
yeah.
have Shaper 3D, which I'm a huge
Uh-huh.
advocate for. So Shaper 3D takes the best parts of like a robust software, and it puts it, like SolidWorks, and it puts it like on
Yep.
your iPad or on your Mac or on
That's
your PC.
yep.
As far as I know,
Uh-huh.
Shaper 3D is the one that does that. So I work for those guys
Yep.
sometimes. I'm a huge fan of the
Awesome.
software, and also
Uh-huh.
the cell phones, right? So let me tell you a story about 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 iPads. Okay, so
Uh-huh.
before iPads, we used to have what's called the Kindle Fire. And
Yep.
when iPhones, or even before iPhones, when phones first were able to take pictures, like I would take pictures of all of our work, and
Yeah.
I figured out how to export those pictures onto my Kindle Fire. And then
Uh-huh.
when I go out to talk to people, like sales calls, I would show them pictures on my Kindle Fire, and they were like
Oh,
blown
you are the
away.
superstar. You were like,
Yeah,
who
they could
is
not believe
this
it.
guy? Oh
Yeah, so
man,
I've always been a
that's
huge fan of
hilarious.
like being innovative. Yeah, like people were blown away.
Yeah.
Now, of course, everybody
Uh-huh.
does that on their iPad.
Yeah.
But I just, I always look at being like innovative and like trying to. I'm always like looking into the future because I'm always looking for like the next big thing that's going to help either the
Yeah.
glazing industry, whether it's social media content, cameras,
Hmm. Hmm.
hardware specifically. I go to the trade
Yeah.
show every single year for the very
Yeah.
specific reason to look for hardware. Like I want to be the first to our local market with the latest and greatest.
That's awesome. That's really cool. No, that's legit. Yeah, it's funny. Technology, some people love it, some people hate it, and I'm sure there's somewhere, some guy somewhere that's still walking around with a clipboard and about 500 reams of paper and still going at it. And it's there. We even have it in this building too. It's like no, there's people who brace it and people who don't. But oh, that's so
Yeah.
funny. Um, Kind of talking about sort of younger years and kind of shaping who you are. What's a moment in your career that it kind of really shaped you to and how you lead or how you work today?
Okay, well, I have a story for that as well. So I was maybe 16, maybe
Uh-huh.
17. I had been working in the shop, for a little while, and
Yes.
actually, no, I think it was early on. So, like, my very first job, now that I think about it, was a delivery driver. So they
Hmm.
had like we call it the rack truck. It's like a Chevy, 3500 with big old glass racks on it. And
Yes.
so my first job was to get in that truck and drive it. The problem is that I had no idea how to drive a stick shift. And
Oh,
so
brother.
essentially had to learn right there on the spot.
Oh my
And
goodness.
can you imagine, like, and then it's not just like a little car, or it's
Nope.
nothing easy. It was a big old, like truck. And so,
Oh my word, dude.
yeah, dude. So like, I remember I was driving that rack truck, and I had a stinger, like a big forklift attachment in the back,
Uh-huh.
and I took off too fast somehow, and the stinger fell out onto a busy street. So I had like get out and put it back in there. Scared me to
Oh,
death, but it's all
oh
right.
no.
And then one time I almost I cut off a cop. I literally cut him off, almost ran him off the road. He pulled
Oh
me over,
my
of course. I just had
goodness.
to be like, I'm sorry, man. I never drove this truck before. He said, that's okay, whatever. But anyway,
Uh-huh.
long story short, I had to basically sink or swim, figure it out, and do it. And so that basically set the tone for my career moving forward.
Nice.
Learn how to drive a stick
Nice.
shift.
There you go. Yeah, it's funny. Growing up in Northern Ireland, um, we don't have automatics. Automatic is a luxury. If you want an automatic car, you pay a lot of money. And so, coming here and living well, I've actually been here 10 years now, but going back the first time to see my parents, it had been a long time. And obviously, we rented a car. And I would say by the time I got it back, I had burnt the clutch out of that thing so bad just because I'm like, what? You get so easy at driving automatic. That's hilarious. Yeah, you look at the stick and you go, okay, here we go. And then you're doing a hill climb and you're like, riding the clutch and it's like, oh, this thing's about to snap at any moment. Oh man, that's too
Is
funny.
is the stick on the opposite side over there,
Yep,
or
it
is it?
sure
Yeah,
is. Oh yeah,
I
it
bet
sure
that's
is.
different
You're
too.
doing it with your left hand, and it's
Hmm.
like it's so funny. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, sink or swim. That's definitely a good way to look at life. It's either go for it or drown. It's one of the two. So
Hmm.
that's so cool. So current roles. Obviously you're at Bar and Glass. What does your typical world, your day look like where you're at? Morning to evening. Do you have like set times to do things, or is it kind of whatever comes your path, you'll take it?
I kind of just whatever comes my path, but my role essentially is sales and operations.
Hmm.
So I've been at Bearing Glass for 8 years now, I think, and basically I take sales calls, I convert them, I
Mm-hmm.
train the people. Right now, I'm in the process of training like a new measurer, getting everybody in the office on board with using the iPads, getting
Nice.
the people in the field, bringing them into the office, teaching them how to order glass, right? Like it's just keeping the wheels turning. So I basically like built all the processes and everything that we
Mm-hmm.
use. And I kind of just make sure that everyone's doing their part and there's records of everything, training a lot of people constantly,
Yeah.
hiring. So pretty much I do it all. We're a small company. help the crew with designing and ordering, always looking for new ways to improve the process. And of course, when I have an opportunity, I try to get pictures and videos of our completed projects and then post them on social media, which is like a whole another arm of what I do outside of business hours. But I have a
Yeah.
lot of fun doing it.
That's awesome. That's so cool. So leading people, it's a gift. It's an art. Obviously, in different sectors, it's for different people: stone, glass, tile, whatever. But is there one thing, say, in the glazing sector that you wished sort of more people knew about, to help in these days?
Yeah. So when I was like at the first company I worked for, it was like any other glass company was the devil, right? They were the enemy. It
Yeah.
was like you don't talk to them, you don't associate with them. It's like it's almost like they hate each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much.
Like that's like the culture that I basically grew up in.
Yeah.
And now that I'm basically in a leadership role at a smaller glass company, I know so many people in the glazing industry, and I talk to other glazing companies. We help each other out. If I need some hardware, someone could have my back, or if
Hmm.
there's a certain kind of project that we don't want to take on, I could pass it on to the next company, and it comes full circle. So I think what glazing companies can do better, as far as how it used to be, is they just can work with each other, right? And you don't
Yeah.
have to be
Yeah.
enemies all the time.
Yeah, totally. That's one thing that's pretty cool about going to like trade shows or kind of events where it feels like a family party, kind of weirdly in some ways, where it's like everybody knows each other. They all want to hang out. There is a little bit of competition, let's be honest. It's like, but for the most part, it's super encouraging to go on like forums or talk to other people who are in like big WhatsApp groups, and so they'll like throw out a question, a couple of people chime in. This is how we do it. Might not be the solution for you, but here's at least some ideas, and I think that's one thing that like all of us can grow in, even outside of trades, is just helping each other a bit more and not worrying that, oh, well, they're going to gain an advantage over me. Or every person has as Liam Neeson says, has a specific set of skills, and you're your own unique person, and so it's important to just give that knowledge away. It's like there's no U-Haul behind a hearse, is a saying that
Yeah.
we have around here. Like knowledge, give it away. Like you'll give away your home, you'll give away your money, you'll give away all your possessions, but one thing that sadly doesn't get given away is what's between your ears. And so we've got a couple of older engineers here who are very willing and able to train the next generation and are happy to do it. And it's such a breath of fresh air. It really is. It's so good. So no, that's awesome.
Yeah, it really
Um,
is. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Oh no, no, I was just gonna say, yeah. So I go to the trade show every year, and I
Hmm.
know a lot of people online from across the world, and that's like the one time of year that everyone gets to get together that
Yeah.
has met online, and that's
Hmm.
fantastic. But on the
Yeah.
flip side, the owner or the president of the company that I used to work for, like we run into them from time to time because we're in
Hmm.
the same town. Like they
Yeah.
just act like they don't see us, like kind of just give us the cold shoulder. So it's kind of a strange thing, but whatever.
It's sad, man. It really is. It's like we're only here for a short time. It's like just help each other. It's sad. It's like the proverbial, teach your kids to open a door for someone going into the grocery store or a restaurant or something. That's not taught, and it's really sad. But anyways, moving on.
All right.
Today's world, it's ever changing. It's growing. Content is more than just marketing. It's actually, we find it. I'm sure you'll attest. It's communication. In the glazing sector, how do you see them embracing it, or perhaps is there opportunities that they're missing that they could be taking up and actually gaining from that?
Oh yeah, I could talk about this for hours, but I'll try to keep it short.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest missed opportunity for anyone trying to build a presence on social media, not just lasers, is
Yeah.
talking to the camera. That's the number one
Yeah.
thing that you can do. Of
Yeah.
course, everybody that works in construction, they want to show like cool pictures and finished products, which is fine. That's great,
Yeah.
but that's not enough.
Hmm.
You gotta connect with people, right? You gotta
Yeah.
talk about, the context of the job at least, or maybe tell a story of what happened for the job.
Yes.
And just talking and telling stories and being authentic, I feel like is more valuable right now more than
Hmm.
ever. Now
Hmm.
AI can basically do anything you could possibly imagine. So
Totally.
just like being yourself is like the number one thing that you can possibly do. Well, and then there's probably a second thing you can probably do is just stay consistent.
Yeah.
And then that will for sure, if you just do those two things and stay
Hmm.
consistent, that's it, man. That's the golden
Yeah.
ticket.
Yeah, it really is. That's one thing I love about these podcasts where it's a conversation. It's not like it's not forced. There's no real agenda. It's we want to we want to highlight people who are doing a fantastic job, um, like yourself and others. And it's really sad where a lot of companies are overusing, like AI is a great tool. Like there's no way about it. It's wonderful, but there's certain things that it just doesn't have, and it doesn't have a personality. It doesn't have it can't, like, as we're talking on the podcast, quickly think. And so I think that genuineness is very critical these days when there's so much, like, anything you watch now, in the back of your mind you're going, was that AI or is that real? But when it is real, you're able to, like, that's real content. I get that. That's totally cool. So yeah, no, that's look into the camera. We used to, just full disclosure, and my boss is going to laugh whenever I say this, but we used to have a camera that would point at the side of my head, and it would basically show the profile of my face, which I thought was cool. It was a really good angle. I thought it was like, whoo, this is the cool thing. But they had a fair point where seeing someone's eyeballs are very important. And we've literally noticed that there's been more people gravitating to the podcast with looking this way rather than me looking like that. And so eye contact is another thing. Just it's so easy to do, but yet so many times we don't do it. But no, it's yeah,
Yeah.
content for
It,
sure.
yeah, it's hard to do. So I use a mirrorless camera and I'm trying
Uh
my
huh.
hardest to not look over there at the
Yep.
screen
Uh
and
huh.
also the screen just below me. And I'm trying my hardest to not keep
Yep.
staring at it too much,
You're like, yep. Oh
Yeah, it's a lot
yeah.
easier on your phone because you basically just look down the center of
Yeah,
it.
it's the same thing. Oh yeah, that's hilarious. When it comes to culture, safety, or even communication on the job site, how have you seen, like, the industry evolve when it comes to those things?
So crazy thing is that it's largely the same as it always has been. Like from
Hmm.
my perspective, like the products are more or less the same. The way it gets installed is more or less the same.
Hmm.
But what I think is that what's different about today is that like the safety comes more naturally. I
Hmm.
think people really understand that it's there for a reason,
Yes.
and you should probably wear your safety glasses when you're cutting metal. You
Yeah.
know, so I feel like people are the macho ego part of it is way down. Like
Good.
people aren't afraid to ask for help, like carrying a big piece up the stairs.
Yeah. No.
There's no need to basically push it. So I feel like that's a real good thing. And also the superintendents at the job sites and also the tradespeople and pretty much anyone involved is like way less experienced now than they were
Mm.
back then. And
Yeah.
so communication is like more of a fundamental part of the entire process because
Hmm.
like literally everybody knows way less than they used to when I was like
Yeah.
heavy. So it was like almost like a different era. So I think when you hire, you just got to try to hire for attitude over skill, and
Yeah.
people can just go in and talk to anybody and have a good attitude, and we just get our work done, and that's it.
Yeah. No, that's helpful. That's yeah. Safety is a big key. It's yeah. There's a dearth of employees. There's a real lack in gaining good talent and keeping it. And so keeping them safe, giving them kind of cool, shiny tools to use and everything they need is it's attractive to people to stay on. And it also shows that you care about your employees. Like, you don't want someone carrying a huge piece of glass, like, stick it in a cart or, whatever. And we have the saying of roll when you can. It's so important because it's heavy. You go home tired. By the end of the week, you're exhausted, you don't have much recovery, and boom, you're back at it again. So anytime you can do things smarter is definitely
Oh
helpful.
yeah. I myself, my first week as an installer, I fell off an extension ladder.
Oh
So I
my
learned about
goodness.
safety like real quick. I was okay. Like I was like leaning against a glass railing at a courthouse, but I
Uh-huh.
had the ladder at too much of an angle, which I had no idea
Mm.
because it was like my first week, and I just
Yeah.
rode the ladder
Bonk.
all the way down. And so I learned about ladder safety real quick. And so I make sure that when we're on ladders, which isn't often to be honest, that we
Uh-huh.
play it safe.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Um, Kind of speaking to yourself now, what role do you think social media content plays in building trust with clients, and even bringing good clients to your team?
Well, so the social media isn't just for the clients, it's also for the talent. So
Mm.
I do the social media for Baron Glass, and I pour most of my effort for Baron Glass into Instagram, right?
Uh-huh.
That's where we have our following. And the reason
Yeah.
I do that is because that's where like the high-end builders and designers like to hang out. Those are our
Hmm.
customers. But even beyond that, when someone wants to come and work for us, they're obviously gonna look us up on Instagram and they see all this cool, incredible stuff that we're a part of, and they want to be a
Hmm.
part of that. So
Yeah.
it really helps getting talent in. It also helps with the contractors and designers because I try to build like a very aesthetic style, if you will, like almost like real estate, right? Like I
Yeah.
want to look immaculate, perfect.
Hmm.
Started working in talking heads, and lately, I try to take a photo or a video of every single product that I can that's different. And
Yes.
if something is different, I talk to a camera, explain why we did this and what are the benefits of it. And
Yes.
so what I find is that it's basically like an online showroom, if you will. And then,
Uh-huh.
like clockwork, I'll have a customer ask me about a specific thing that I just made a video about like 3 months ago, and I'll just send
Uh-huh.
them the link and say,
That's
"Here, watch
awesome.
this video. This is why we need two transoms, or watch this video. This is why you need Starfire, or this or that."
Yeah.
Like I
Yes.
basically have it all explained. So that's like one part of it, and the other part of it is just bringing in good customers. So I have way more than a couple of customers that found us through our Instagram. We got in the DMs, and I think probably my biggest story is Alderview Construction found us on Instagram. They're big time into social media, so I started
Yeah.
commenting on their stuff. They started commenting
Hmm.
on mine, and one day I made this video, which is just a time lapse of me drawing a arch top shower door.
Yeah.
I thought it was a pretty horrible video, but he reached
Uh-huh.
out to me because of that, and that basically
Uh-huh.
led to like $250,000 worth of work in the next
Dude.
year for just one builder, and that's just like one story. So like
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't understand that like when you make a video or even if you run an ad, like you don't necessarily make an ROI off that one video.
Mm.
Your ROI comes from being consistent over time,
Yeah.
right? It
Multiple.
comes back. It just takes a while, but it
It
always comes
does.
back. Mhm.
It does. Yeah, it's actually very rewarding. We find it here too, same as you, that it is fun to see the analytics at the end of the month to see how many views and how many likes, and but then it's also pretty cool when this stranger DMs and leaves you a message and I watched your video and I bought your tool and it's making my life a whole lot better, and then they send you a boatload of pictures and you're like, that's why we do what we do. It's pretty awesome. It's yeah, it's such a good tool to use. But like you said, it does take time to build. It definitely takes. It's a slow burner, but it's definitely awesome. So you're making content. You're helping. If you could create, say, one unique piece for, say, a young person in the trades, that they could see, what would that message be for them?
I would say I would make a content, maybe a story form or something cool. My message essentially would be don't ever give up. Good
Hmm.
things are inevitable no matter what you were doing,
Hmm.
and always give more than what you were asked for.
Okay. Cool.
Essentially, that.
That's awesome. No, that's good. Yeah, it's why do you think sort of younger people, maybe this is totally off script, but why do you think they give up so easily?
I think it's has to do a lot with instant gratification
Hmm.
from smartphones, computers, technology. even like getting rides to places, like everyone, nobody had to really walk.
Yeah.
Like we had to basically like read books and go to libraries and like
Mm-hmm.
work for things.
Mm-hmm.
I think that has a lot to do with it. Is like they're just like too spoiled. There's this saying, I can't remember exactly how it goes, but it's like generations, like so like strong men
Mm-hmm.
create good times create weak men
Mm-hmm.
create
Mm-hmm.
bad times create strong men. So it's like a cycle.
It's
So I
a
feel like
cycle. Yeah.
we're on this part of it where
Yeah.
they had it too easy, so they just don't try as hard, right?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. That's just my
No,
take on it.
I actually think that's a good take on it. Yeah, if you want on the ride, they just get an Uber.
Yeah.
Whereas, if I wanted to, back home buy a bar of chocolate, for instance, or a packet of crisps or a bottle of mineral, as we call it, or fizzy pop or whatever it is, you had to get on your bicycle. And it was, if you wanted it, it was a 2 mile cycle and you worked for it. Yeah, that's now it's DoorDash. Now you don't even have to make your lunch. You get someone just to deliver it right to your door. It's kind of ridiculous, but anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. Innovation. Obviously, people innovate all the time. Things change, technologies change. Have there been any of those that have changed how you guys approach projects or think upon them or even lay them out?
Well, I'm all about innovation. There's always innovating things, but I just have like a list of things that have been innovative. In Oh, sorry. I already had a list of things that have been innovative for me recently, and that's
Uh-huh.
of course Shaper 3D, which I'm a huge
Okay.
advocate of. CAD on the iPad,
Mm-hmm.
laminated glass, which it was a huge innovation. So before laminated glass, like for instance, like a glass railing, where it was done with tempered glass, and if that tempered glass breaks, and someone could fall through it. And like laminated glass solves a lot of problems for a lot of projects where you want a frameless system, but you also want thermal features or safety features. And then just new hardware, like there's this piece of hardware called the hydraulic patch fitting hinge. It's
Mm-hmm.
essentially like a very robust piece of hardware that can hold a massive door, but it's this small.
Oh,
So
wow.
we were one of the first ones to market with that. Maybe it was 5 or 6 years ago. It was like innovative. Now everybody does it.
Yeah.
So now they have a new system called the Fallbrook, which I
Mm-hmm.
can go into detail about that. But it's a new system by
Mm-hmm.
Sierra Lawrence. I'm a big fan of it. It's brand new, and that's
Mm-hmm.
part of the reason I like it is because it has innovative features with
Yeah.
being able to adapt different glass types. And then, of course, the digital templating is super innovative when it
Yeah.
comes to processing large jobs in the glazing industry.
Awesome. Wow. What a rattle of a list. That's awesome. Someone's done their homework on the questions, I can tell you. That's pretty cool. That's good. Yeah. Innovations, yeah, it's definitely if you're not growing, you're dying. That's a statement we have around here. Even if it's only a small thing. It doesn't have to be like, let's knock down 4 walls and let's make the place bigger. It could be let's put the box that we hold stuff from here to here and it takes less time and we're more efficient. It's not huge, and kind of to high level managers or managers, like at times you have to take a step back and innovate and not always be kind of in the weeds trying to, like, sometimes we have a lot of sayings around here, but we also have the coffee shop effect where we go away to a coffee shop and all we have is our laptop and we just think and we jot down notes and we plan and we ponder, because the day to day can suck you in so much that you don't plan for the next 2 months, 6 months, the next year. And it's always good to be thinking ahead and, to your point, picking up new products that are pretty revolutionary and but yet are so awesome. And boom, let's get it to market. So that's really cool. Um, right now, what do you think are the biggest opportunities for glazers or shop owners in the industry? Is there anything in particular that think they could really go after, and ponder?
Well, I can only speak for us, obviously, but one
Mm-hmm.
thing that I feel like that I've been a part of that has basically helped us the entire time is basically going after like the ultra high end residential work.
Mm.
And we've always been busy, super busy. Tariffs right now, even
Yeah.
through tariffs. through COVID, 2008 housing, recession, because we essentially go after working for the wealthy.
Yeah.
They're always going to want to invest in nice real estate, and that's basically going to keep us going. And
Yeah.
so I found that like by focusing on that as the main thing over B2C and over commercial and over wholesale, that line has never died, and that is the reason that that is our main focus is high end residential, specifically custom home builders and interior designers.
Awesome. See, thinking smart, innovating. That's pretty awesome. Um, that's the positive, thinking upon, those people. But obviously there are pain points. Is there things that you've seen or noticed that perhaps need to change to make things better or to help improve things?
Um, yeah, so obviously nothing's easy.
Hmm.
But the hardest, yeah, the hard, I'd say the hardest thing to keep the train moving is just having like reliable vendors,
Yeah.
and just like being able to get your hardware and your glass on time, scratch free. It's always a battle. In fact, so many glass companies end up fabricating their own glass for that
Hmm.
reason. I've
Hmm.
been through that cycle before. Of course, there's the communication with clients. It seems like everybody in the world is like doesn't know what's going on at the job site. So
Hmm.
it's always, there's always this happening no matter
Yep.
how you
Yep.
are communicating. There's a company culture, right? Keeping
Oh
everybody on the
yeah.
same page. And I just think that leading by example is probably the best thing. I have absolutely no respect for a boss that has not walked the path that I walked.
Hmm.
So I literally walked the path that people underneath me have walked, and I can
Hmm.
basically guide them and lead them. And when things happen, I can advise like, okay, well, this happened to me before back in 2010, and this is what I did, and it worked.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I
Oh
think I
yeah.
kind of veered off the question, but
No, no,
yeah.
no, that's very helpful. Even it's kind of ironic, but even today as we record this, we have a number of people who aren't here because they're sick. And so myself and another employee, um, you have to take up that slack. Like you can't turn around and say to people, sorry, we can't do what we said we would do today because, Jimmy's off sick somewhere. And so it's been pretty awesome the last 2 days getting sort of back into this is what this guy does every day. Man, he's doing a really good job. I need to tell him that. And
Hmm.
even things like that are so important, like being walking that path so you know when you can encourage. Because if someone's doing a good job, you obviously want to tell them. And if they're not, you want to be able to draw alongside and say, hey, you gotta be wary of these things and watch. So yeah, no, that's cool. Um, Personal brand. Um, we talk about it in construction or glazing, but it matters. How would you define your personal brand?
So the personal brand I try to put out, well, first of all, not salesy. Even
Hmm.
though I'm a salesman, and for a long time, I don't feel like I've ever been like a used car salesman kind of guy,
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, so I feel like the personal brand I'm trying to establish, or whatever you want to call it, is
Uh,
strong, dependable,
Good.
knowledgeable, and innovative.
Good. That's awesome. That's really good. I do think my camera has stopped. I'm going to turn it off and turn it back on. It looks like I've paused in a really stupid face. So I apologize for that, but hang on.
All
Okay,
right.
moving on then. We're in the last stretch, my friend. We're in the last stretch. Um, do you personally think shop owners, installers, tradespeople in general, they underestimate that value of personal branding?
100%. So do
Uh-huh.
you know Keith Dubman with My Architectural Glass?
Oh yeah, I sure do.
And why do you know him? Because he's all over social media. He does a great
Yeah.
job. He's my mentor
Hmm.
and my friend. I just recorded a podcast with him a couple of weeks ago. I'm still working on the
Nice.
edit. But basically, yeah, I feel like everyone should be on there, even if you're an installer
Yeah.
and you're not necessarily loyal to the company that you work for. Just
Hmm.
posting pictures of your finished work online is going to go a long way when you go to try to
Hmm.
work at another glass company. Because the
Hmm.
first thing if like we hire people, and I could tell that people like installers are proud of their work when they have pictures on their phone. or I can just go on their social media and they can see that they've posted a bunch of stuff. And
Yeah.
I can physically see that they care enough to put pictures of their work online. So
Hmm.
even if you're installed and you think it means nothing now, just post it anyway because it's going to live there forever and it's
Oh
going to
yeah.
come back and it's
Yeah.
going to help you down the line. I
Hmm.
promise.
Yeah, it sure is. On the flip side, be careful what you say. Yeah, that
Uh,
also may come back. That also may come back to bite you in the bum. But no,
yeah.
that's so true. Like seeing what's pretty awesome is we are as a company just getting into the glass section. We've been in stone for years, but into the glass trade, learning. What's cool is seeing these men online, meeting them in person, and they're exactly the same. That's one thing that's like really stood out to me as they are genuine people. And kind of the old saying, what you see is what you get, is so true with these guys. And it's back to like one of our very first talking points. Just being genuine and consistent is so key. And there's a pulling in or a drawing that when people are like that, that you want to listen to them. Sometimes people talk and you're like, yeah, whatever. I'm not listening to that.
Yeah, it's not a performance, right? You just got to
Exactly.
be
It's
yourself.
just they're quirky, they're cool, they're not full of themselves. And what's cool, like I've done podcasts with a number of these men. Um, they've not had life easy. They've not been gifted all these things. They've worked their rear end off to get where they are. And it shows because they're so passionate about it. And it's back to kids get everything handed into their hand. They don't have to work for it. As parents, it's okay sometimes to say, you know what, son, no, you're not getting it. You got to work for it. My
Mhm.
kid loves RC cars. Um, he has his eye on one. And I'm like, well, work for it. We've got 5 acres of land to weed eat. When you've got that done, we'll talk. And by the time you get it done, the weeds will have grown again. So it's a vicious circle. So keep going. But it's true. You got to work for
Yeah,
it. So
you got to make him work for it. So
yeah.
my daughter is going to be 16 in December, or I guess
Uh-huh.
this month, later this month.
Yeah.
And I bought her a vehicle to drive, and I told her she needs to get a job to pay for
Yep.
insurance.
Yep.
Guess what? She has a job. So I'm paying for the car. I also told her if she gets straight A's, or maybe, four A's and one B would be good
Uh-huh.
enough, that
Yeah.
I'll wrap her Jeep in a pink wrap. And she's like,
Dude.
working towards it. So, but yes, I spoil her, but I also lead by example.
Yep.
I'm being to work. She's fully aware, and
Mm-hmm.
she's only been working for a couple weeks, but she's, taking it seriously. So she's
It's
starting off strong.
that's so cool. Wow, you're a good dad. That's a good dad. Keep it up. Yeah, we gotta that next generation is so key. Yeah, it's scary, but it's also it's pretty cool to be able to influence and have that. And like here at Omni Cubed, we pride ourselves in kind of bringing young fellas into work, like young lads, young ladies, and then growing them. Like maybe it's their first ever job. Well, we help teach them like timekeeping matters, respect to these people around you. We have such an awesome company culture. It's a huge big family. And it's pretty awesome to see someone come in young, you invest in them, and then you look at them now and you go, wow. Like we've one young lad who came in on the saw, worked his way through. He's now the machine shop manager. Um, there's no ceiling to where he can go. He's phenomenal, but he's also driven and he's passionate about what he does. So yeah, pretty cool. So we're talking about personal identities. How is having a strong personal identity in the industry? How has it helped you, either in your business, relationships, or even influence that you might have with people?
So, my old company, when I first got into sales, I was really scared because I'm kind of an introvert. I stumble over my words a lot, and I don't know. I just had a lot of things against me that I thought wouldn't make me a good salesperson.
Uh-huh.
But I ended up being like the number one salesperson for like basically every year since I started, and so I moved on to something else. But my thing is just being confident. Like number one thing is just to be confident. Like the experience, so like the experience of having installed, combined with, being confident, like those two things lead to innovation, right?
Yeah.
Don't be scared to try new things. When you find something that works, double down. And, we've set many trends that way, and constantly pushing the envelope, within reason. So you don't want to design some crazy glass system that's going to get somebody killed, but you definitely want to try to do something that's different from what everyone else is doing. And leading by example, makes your teams try even harder. And then also, just keeping your cool is also essential to not be super emotional when things
Yeah.
get tough.
Oh yeah, amen to that. Oh dear, so true. Um, you're kind of talking there about all those things, but if there was one major piece of advice, or like a phrase or a saying or even something to do for a young person who's wanting to enter in, and they're wanting to build, like yourself, a long career that's successful, what advice would you give them?
It's the same advice I give to every young person that's going to try to do literally anything, especially in the workforce. So, literally, if you do this one thing, you will be successful. Show up every day on time and do your job. That's it. If you just do those two things, you'll be ahead of 90% of people. And then at that point, just have a willingness to learn. But if you just do show up every day on time
Yep.
and do your job, give a little more than what you're asked for, that's literally it. The sky's the limit.
Dude, I laugh, but it's so true. It's kind of sad where it's like, yeah, if you actually show up on time and you do your job, like you'll be ahead of the game. How sad?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of, when you take a step back and you look at it in the bigger picture, like that's kind of sad, but it's so true. Oh man, yeah,
Yeah, it's because of the way the world is now. The
yeah,
entire world is in bad shape.
yeah.
So if you just do those two things, like you're automatically ahead of 90%.
Yeah, you stand out like a sore thumb. You're like, oh, wait, hang on. You need a raise already. Oh, man, that's hilarious. So funny. So true as well. Okay, over your lifetime, you've done many projects, you've done many different things, but is there one particular job or project that you've worked on that really stands out for you over the years?
Yeah, so there's this curved glass railing that I measured. This was years ago before digital templating
Uh-huh.
or even lasers. So I used it was a helix. It was a helical shape. So it's like a spiral staircase that goes like this
Yes.
with glass, right? And so I measured and I figured out like the rise and run, the radius, arc length. I measured it all by hand. And it was
Oh
when I
my
was first
word.
into sales. And it was kind of a big job. I felt
Uh-huh.
like if I screwed this up, they'd probably take me out of sales or
Uh-huh.
fire me. Maybe I was tripping, but so
Yeah.
anyway, I did this. I got help. I figured everything out. We ordered it, and I went on vacation the week that the
Mm-hmm.
glass arrived, and it was getting installed. And it kind of ruined my vacation because I was like, "Damn, what if none of that glass
What
fits? I
is?
just wasted $80,000, But
Oh
anyway,
man.
it all fit like a glove, and everything was
Good.
fine. It kind of elevated me to the next level.
Uh-huh.
But I just think, having confidence. So of course, I was scared, but I sought out help from the carpenter that was there, from one of my mentors, and then another mentor of mine. Like we all came together to basically figure out how to do this math and how to basically double check it before we ordered it. And so I think that was it, man. Just not being afraid to ask for help, and then also not being afraid to go for it.
That's awesome. There you go. Don't be afraid. Fear not. Um, yeah, there's always that one that stands out, isn't there? That's pretty legit. Doing it by hand, dang, dude.
Yeah, I'll send you a
That's
picture. I
amazing.
still have the
Yeah, send a
pictures.
pic. That would be pretty cool to follow up with, even some
Yeah,
of the clips that go out. That'd be awesome.
yeah, that'd be one piece of B-roll I'll give to you as that
There you
pictures of that
go. That's
for this.
awesome. So cool. Well, we're coming to the end of 2025. We're obviously, in our careers, we're working well. If you could go back in time, jump in the DeLorean, and it takes you back to your very first day or your younger self, what's one bit of advice that you would give yourself, even working through all these years?
Okay. I think that I would tell myself to be patient and to be intentional. So, when you're young and you're coming up, it seems like you can't get there fast enough.
Yeah.
And of course, the older people, the people ahead of you, like, you just gotta be patient, like it'll
Yeah.
come. But when you're on the rise, it doesn't seem like it's gonna come fast enough. So I would just tell
Yeah.
myself, be patient and be intentional. So that's like the philosophical thing. The maybe not so popular thing I tell myself is don't go to college because it's a waste.
Yeah.
So that's it.
That's it. That's it. That's all she wrote. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, it's funny you say that because I never went to college. My father was a farmer. We didn't have tons of money. I didn't go to college, but I went and served at Bombardier Aerospace as an aeronautical engineer, hands-on training. It was a 6-year course. We did it in 4. And then obviously September the 11th hit, but the experience through that was just nothing. I would never change that for the world. And I look at my son, who's 14, and I'm like, dude, you got to get a trade because there's like, it's a dying art. Like in our area, to find a good plumber, electrician, welder, there's none here, and it's like, what's going on? But yeah,
Yeah, and the good ones can pretty much name their price, but
that's
you
the
don't
thing.
necessarily need to be in a trade. Like, so I
No.
got my degree in electrical engineering. I'm still paid money to this day. I had a fun going, but it basically wasn't worth it. I thought
Yeah.
again, I wasn't being patient. I didn't feel like I was going up fast enough. So I was like, maybe I could speed it up by getting a degree and
Yeah.
trying something. But yeah, that didn't work out. It's all right because the path that I'm on is something completely different, and it's good. And now what I'm doing right now, talking to this camera right here, right? Look at
Yeah.
that. It's right.
Uh-huh.
It's like a whole new skill set
Yeah.
and I'm having a blast, right?
That's awesome. Yeah. Keep smiling, my friend. Keep smiling. Brandon, that's it. That's all we have. It was an absolute pleasure, my friend. You are a friend of a friend. We got to know you. We were like, hey, let's get a podcast together. This has been I've enjoyed it. It's been really awesome. Thank you for coming on. I know you maybe weren't feeling the greatest, but I really appreciate you coming on here. And if anyone's listening to this, young, old, like reach out to either the two of us. We're not gurus in any way or shrinks by any stretch, but there's a little bit of knowledge here. There's a little bit of depth and things, and yeah, especially for young people. I'm very passionate about getting young people into these type of jobs, into these scenarios, like having good people alongside to help them. And so, yeah, reach out to Brandon, reach out to me. We're both on LinkedIn, obviously Instagram as well. By all means, yeah, check us out and just see,
And
just
the
watch.
trades, right? In the trades, like having a mentor is like key. I
Oh,
kept,
huge.
maybe I had 5 good mentors, and each
Yep.
and every one of them like poured into me. And so now that's for people that work with us. But like you were saying, reach out to me if you have a question.
Yeah.
You could ask a lot of people that I know. I actively give away information for free,
Yeah.
and I give advice that and people actually take it, and they're like, "Oh my god, that actually worked!" Like, yeah,
That worked. I can't believe it. Yeah,
yeah,
so
I'm glad it
true.
did.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, sir. Well, that's a wrap on this episode of the Cutting Edge Installs. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow or subscribe, leave a quick review, share it with your crew. Keep an eye out for the next episode. It's on every other Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. For more information about Omni Cubed and the tools that we design here and to help fabricators, installers, to help them work safely and every day, go check out our website at omnicubed.com. And until the next time you hear my dulcet tones, stay safe and cheerio. See you later. Thank you.
Thank you.